We are go. Hello, welcome to Smashcast, episode 15. This is the video version, so look out for all the video if you want to watch. Apologies if I don't make much eye contact during. It's nothing to do with you. It's mainly to do with where I read my notes from, but it's nothing personal, I promise. Just testing the mics. Looks like we're good, so I'm just going to start recording the video podcast. Or the video, or just the podcast, I guess, now. Hello, and welcome to Smashcast, the home of Smash Brothers on the Heroes of Handheld network. This broadcast is a podcast. You can listen to that by going to heroesofhandheld.com, or if you want to watch this and see my ugly mug, then you can go to youtube.com, do a search for Heroes of Handheld, and we'll be right there up the top. Smashcast is the only podcast on Heroes of Handheld network dedicated to all things Smash Brothers for the 3DS and Wii U. And what a couple of weeks it's been. We've had loads of news at E3. We had loads of news building up before then. Lots of new rumours and feedback from people who have played the early build, which has been kind of touring America. So without further ado, let's get into all the news. Let's look first of all at the characters that were announced. So we had 3 characters announced at E3, and they are all incredibly cool. The first one was announced in the Nintendo Direct digital event, and it was done in this really swish video, which I'm going to embed. I'm going to embed all of these in the article at heroesofhandheld.com because they're all really cool trailers. And it was a really swish video which saw Reggie fighting Iwata, and they were kind of hitting each other, and it was quite jokey and doing like little kicks and stuff like that. And then they picked up the controllers and were like, "Oh, we'll settle this on Smash Bros." Ho ho ho! And it turned out that you can play as Miis, which is really cool. Now the Miis look to have different build-ups depending on how you want to play them. So some have a sword, some don't. There's other sort of customization options, but it's a really nice touch. And I really hope you can. Presumably you can import your Miis, because then that means you'll be able to import Miis which look a bit like celebrities and rappers and stuff and whatever, which means that I will now be able to play online as a Mii that looks like Nick Cage, which is really all you can want from Smash Bros. So it's very cool. Apparently Sakurai did an interview years ago about putting Miis in Brawl. He said he didn't quite feel they were sort of developed enough. Whereas now, obviously, it looks like they are because they're in the game, and it's a really, really swish trailer, really shows Nintendo sense of fun, and I will be embedding it. Now, character number 2 had been rumoured for a long time. Probably one of the characters to be rumoured the most. There was a kind of leak a couple of months ago. We spoke about it. Maybe it was episode 7 or something like that. And it was the announcement of Palutena, who is in the Kid Icarus franchise as a kind of god, as far as I'm led to believe. The announcement trailer, incredibly cool. It's all in a anime style, much like, I believe there is an anime based in Japan. It might be of Kid Icarus or it might be of Link, I can't remember. But anyway, it's a style familiar to those who watch it. And it's just really cool. It shows Palutena joining the battle. She's got lots of powers focused around her staff. It looks like you're going to be able to customize her. Actually, custom moveset is something we're going to get onto in a bit. But it looks like you'll be able to customize her for different builds depending on how you want to play. I don't know what the default one will be, but it'll be interesting to see how powerful the default one is, because for glory mode you only play as the default builds, so that should be quite interesting. But she looked very cool. She looked very kick-ass. Actually, almost dangerously. It's hard to say. I haven't played it, obviously. She looked like she could fall victim to being overpowered. We'll see how it goes when it actually comes out. But yeah, that looked really cool. And then in the roundtable event, which featured Nintendo higher-ups and Smash Bros. Sort of enthusiasts all chatting about the game, the coolest announcement, which I really wasn't expecting at all, actually, and I just think it's super cool. And it was a announcement done you can watch the video on YouTube. We'll embed it in the article. The trailer was called Red, Blue, Yellow, and I was a bit like, "Yeah, I don't know what this is going to be." And as the trailer goes on, you see that the arcade hero Pac-Man has been announced to take place in Smash Bros. Now, for a lot of people, that would be like, "How can Pac-Man take place? He's just a yellow circle with a mouth missing." But there's been several sort of 3D versions of Pac-Man over the years in kind of platforming games, and I remember him in racing games in the arcade as well. So it's kind of a bit of stuff that, and he'll have powers based around Inky, Blinky, and Clive, and whatever the other one's name is, the ghosts, and also power pills. I'm not sure. You can see him move as the Pac-Man, and I'm not sure if that's a special move or how it kind of works, but Pac-Man looks super cool, and what a world we live in, that you can play a game where Mario fights Sonic, fights Mega Man, fights Pac-Man. I just think that is, for people who grew up like I did in the sort of in the 90s, and even guys who remember the sort of arcade boom of the late 80s. That is really something cool. And in the trailer for Pac-Man, right at the end, you can see Mr. Game & Watch comes in. So he might be confirmed. It might be just a nod. We'll see what happens with that. I hope he is, but we'll see what happens. But that's the characters that have been announced. All very cool. And leading on from that, there is also a Pac-Man stage which was announced. You can see it in the trailer. It's got the ghosts running around. It's got the platforms and kind of points and cherries and things. It looks very cool, and that'll be a fun one to play on. I'm sure, lots of movement. And also, this got announced maybe a week or so before E3, probably less than a week. But there's a new Super Mario Bros. 2 stage, which will feature absolutely tons of gold coins. Collecting all the gold coins, or not all, but collecting a certain amount of gold coins, you'll be able to, I don't know if you'll be able to customize that, that'd be quite interesting, will lead you to be much stronger and a much better fighter. So you could just go for the kills on people, or you could sneak your way up to getting, X amount of coins, and then using that sort of advantage to then get the kills, which is really cool. One nice level. But I just think the Pac-Man stage looks incredibly good, and we will see how those levels play. And at this point, it's 100 coins apparently, and the name of the stage is Golden Plain, exclusive to the 3DS version. At this point, if anyone who listens to Smashcast, and I know you're out there, we've seen the stats. Don't worry, I know who you are. But if you're feeling confident enough and you've played the 3DS version or the Wii U version at E3 or at the Best Buy events, please get in touch, because I'd really love to talk to you about it. I haven't played it because it's all been in America, and obviously I'm sat over here in sunny old Blighty, wondering what's going on and how it plays. So if anyone who listens has played it, please get in touch, because you'd be super interesting to talk to about your thoughts and reactions, and it'd be really good to have a chat. So at this point, and I'll say this again at the end of the podcast as well, but get in touch if you played it. But that's all the characters, Pac-Man, Palutena, and the Mii's, and the stages, the Pac-Man stage and the Super Mario Bros. 2 stage. Now, a couple of bits that's also come out that are very interesting in terms of the mechanics of play. The 3DS version, we now know what's going to be on the bottom screen, and that is quite... I was actually kind of worried what would be on there, but it looks quite good, because it will show whoever's fighting, and it'll have like a stripe for each of them, I suppose, like a vertical slice. We'll put a picture on the site, loads of pictures on the site. Here's handheld.com, and you can also select an enemy, and it will then highlight them on the screen. So if you're playing, and like, I don't know, say I'm playing against Colin and two other guys online, or girls, whatever, and Colin's really pissing me off. Like, Colin pisses me off a lot anyway, but Colin is really pissing me off, and I'm like, oh man, getting pretty annoyed at Colin, but I can't spot him in all the furore, and I don't know which version he is. Well, worry no more, because you'll be able to highlight an enemy, and it will then show that enemy with a white outline to them on screen, and that will be a way of keeping track of who you're playing up against. Really good touch, really nice idea, and one of those things, didn't realise I wanted it until I've got it, but I think it's really cool. Now, one of the other things that's come out about the mechanics of play is customizing special moves, and we've seen a lot of this being talked about before, but now we have lots more firm details on that, and you can actually go to see the pictures of this on the Smash Bros site. But characters, I think it says yes, each character. Oh no, not each character. Certain characters will have the ability to customize their moves. So Mario, for example, the fireball, you'll be able to change it to different ranges, different speeds, different values, I suppose. So you'll have the ability to customize movesets, which would be really handy, but only when you're playing with friends, and not when you're playing against for glory mode, as it were, and just when you're playing with chums as a way of kind of larking about. Actually, I'll read this off the site because I think it's worth to know. Each fighter possesses 4 special moves: standard, special, side, up, special, and down. So that's, left B, up B, down B, neutral B, whatever. Each of these can be customized, however, so there are 3 variations for each direction. This means there are 2 classifications for special moves: basic and custom. So some of these guys, you're going to be able to really swap out their movesets to make really interesting setups. But Mii Fighters and Palutena don't have spin-off versions, but rather just completely unique setups to them, which is really interesting. So rather than you being able to tweak just the Mii's up B, you'll just tweak the whole Mii. So one's got a gun, one's got a sword, one's got a sort of fighter look about him. You'll also be able to wear, again, presumably only with friends, you'll be able to wear special equipment. So max power, in this picture Mario's got max power gloves on, whatever that means. You can sell equipment, power yourself up, trade different things in. Just really, really interesting. Lots of customization happening, which I think is really cool. You can't use Mii Fighters when playing against people online, according to the site, which is a bit of a shame, but never mind. But you can use Mii Fighters when playing against your friends, so that's good. That's a nice way of dicking people out. Maybe my Nick Cage game fantasy will be just with my friends. Apart from customization, there has also been some other mechanical news, including the home run game, which is back, it's been in the various games in different form, although it wasn't in the first one, where you have the sandbag and you have to beat it up and then whack it out of the way and it flies across the stage. And in the new version, the column around the sandbag will be a lot harder, so you won't be able to break it as easily. And also, if it's flying in the air for ages, it will speed up, so you don't just have to sit and watch it tick over the little numbers. It will actually speed up to the point at where it lands, which is really good. Saves a bit of time. And that's about it for mechanics of play. It's mainly been about characters this week, actually. But you should definitely check out the revamped Smash Bros. Website. They've added a lot more information to it. Nintendo goodies. We've now got a little video out. We didn't make it, but I will embed it and credit the creator of gameplay on the Arena Ferox stage, which is the Fire Emblem one, which is really good. It's good to see what that looks like. We basically just had pictures on it. And yeah, so you can watch that, especially if you're in Fire Emblem. It looks like a really, really cool stage. And the other news is the new item, which is a boomerang, which you will be able to obviously throw at your enemies and it comes back to you. The twist being that your enemies can catch it and in midair and then lob it at you. So I don't know how much you'll be able to rely it. It gets stronger each time you throw it. So you could really dick someone over by getting hit by it a couple of times, then catching it on the last one and lobbing it at your opponent, and it will do more damage because it powers up as it goes, which is good. So yeah, not much other item news since E3 and stuff, but we'll see what happens over the next coming weeks. And now we've got the character announcements. There will presumably be item announcements to follow. So, for example, something from Pac-Man or something else from Kid Icarus. See how that works. Now, miscellaneous news, and normally this bit is a bit of a fly in the wall, but actually a bit of a fly on the wall, a bit of a briefity, but actually loads of news this week in the miscellaneous section. First of all, the cover art, which is incredible. It's all red and lovely, and you can see various different fighters looking glorious, flying around, looking really nice. Definitely check out the cover art. There's no sort of unconfirmed characters on there, and it's all the kind of ones you'd expect: the Link, Pikachu, Mario, Pit, but also a couple who you maybe not like. Rosalina's on there, Kirby, Little Mac, so that's quite cool. It's also playable in 2D and in 3D, but 3D mode is only for ages 7+. So if you're younger than 7 and you listen to this podcast, then maybe think carefully before turning on your 3D slider when you get Smash Bros. Aside from that, we also have a release date for the 3DS version, which is the 3rd of October. Now, at first, I was a bit bummed out by this because I wanted it to come out over the summer, play it. My birthday's in the middle of August, maybe play it a lot on that birthday, my birthday week, take some time off. But actually, October's not too bad, and it means we can get hyped for it all summer. And October's still this year, I guess. It's a bit of a shame. It's but it's just one of those things, isn't it? And I'd rather it came out and was good than it came out in the summer and had massive holes in it. No new news on the Wii U release version. Still penned for the kind of holiday winter this year, so a bit later on, but we'll see. But October the 3rd is the 3DS version, so I'll stop harking on about that. And the Smash Bros. Tournament which was the Invitational Tournament at E3. Lots of Smash Bros. Players from around the world took part by invitation. You can watch the whole thing on YouTube, thanks to a lovely man or girl called Zephyr Sonic. I don't know if they're male or female. Apologies if you're either, or indeed if you're, whatever's going on. It's fine. Zephyr Sonic has put the whole invitational video up. It's 2.5 hours. I would say, it's 2.5 hours. That's a long time. If you're really into it, then definitely watch the whole thing. You might not be really into it, in which case you can skip to the end to watch the final. The final was really, really good. I wasn't watching it as it went out, but I watched it as soon as I could. There's also a really hype moment where the first Smash Ball comes up and Mega Man gets it, and the whole crowd are like, whoa, and Mega Man fires off his final Smash, and it's magnificent. Definitely watch the whole tournament. It's really good, and it's a lot of the competitive scene have been talking a lot about what they've seen in the game, how much they like it, how much they don't like it based on the videos. Kind of tough, because obviously not everyone who's complaining has played it, but people are entitled to their own opinion. Let's just see how it is when it comes out, because you never know what's going to change, and it wasn't the final build. We're also going to be embedding just the Smash Bros section from the Nintendo Digital event at E3, because the whole thing was quite long, and if you just want to watch the Smash Bros bits, then you can do by going to heroesofhandheld.com. I think that's about it. There wasn't actually much news before E3, and then E3 came and they just kind of wowed us with characters. Although it is weird that it's now been a year since the last sect. Do you remember that set at E3 got announced, the Mega Man and the Animal Crossing Villager, and the really cute trailer to that? Funny thing, it's a year ago and we still don't have the game, but soon, October the 3rd, so get your pre-orders in, because this is happening, and you should definitely pre-order it if you're interested in Smash Bros. But maybe you've listened to almost 16 minutes of news on Smash Bros. And you want a more general podcast about what goes on in 3DS and Vita World. Well, you should listen to the main Heroes of Handheld podcast, which goes up normally every Wednesday of the week. We also try and do it in video form when we can. You should definitely listen to that. It's me and my friend Colin. He's a lovely man. We talk a lot about news and stuff, and we take the piss out of each other quite a lot, go off on some tangents, but it's fine. You can also listen to Colin's IndieCast, which is all about indie games for the PlayStation Vita, which goes up on the week where Smashcast doesn't go up when Colin is performing to form, which isn't always forever, but normally it is, so it's all fine. I recommend you listen to both of those. My name is Chris. Thank you very much for listening to Smashcast. Thank you very much for watching Smashcast. I've had lots of fun. And I hope you continue to enjoy Smash Bros. Hyping and Smash Bros. Kind of talk for the 3DS and Wii U version. And if you have been to if you played Smash Bros. Specifically on 3DS, but Wii U would be fine too, please, please, please get in touch by emailing us, heroesforhandheld@gmail.com, because I would bite your hand off to talk to you, young sir or lady, or whatever's going on. Thanks very much for listening. Bye-bye. So, that was the video and the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. You can email us, heroesofhandheld@gmail.com. Go to our website, check out our shit. It's quite good. heroesofhandheld.com. Thank you very much for listening, for watching, for being my friend. Bye!